Estamos y no nos escondemos, ¿sabes?
Are you ready? I was born ready.
Obviously, you're a little, aggravated by the line of questioning regarding Canelo.
I don't want to touch this, dude. So bad, I don't want to touch his name.
I'm working on feeling the art of humbleness. Can you be with me? That's the reason why I'm crying, because I'm not that person anymore. And I miss him. But sometimes I feel like a bitch. I don't want that person to come out, because when he comes out, hell is coming with him. And it's not funny at all. It must sound cool, like I'm a tough guy. It's just I hate that I'm scared.
It would be awesome to, be being a great war. Maybe with a Mexican.
Let's go! Way pop!
I have to put the joke.
No, hey.
Thank you for playing, man. I appreciate
Good
you.
timing.
Can't put predictions, man, but I definitely don't want to leave it to the judges.
Estamos en vivo, damas y caballeros. Sunday Recap con los muchachos locos aquí, como siempre, damas y caballeros. We are heartbroken, but we're here breaking it down like it is, like it should be. We are
broken.
LongLiveBoxing EnVivo podcast. Manny, siempre en vivo. Marrero.
Sean el Gringo Hicks.
Hopper.
That's right. You heard it. We are going to break it down like it is, like it should be on an amazing weekend. Yes, frustrated. I see some of you social medias are starting to put their comments, show their frustrations, happiness, whatever it is. It was an amazing weekend. And I'm just, you know what, guys? I'm really excited that I was part of that. I was able to watch the best female fight in ages and decades, maybe ever. And then we tuned into another great, possible fight one Saturday, and we'll break it down. But, that was also in Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez. Guys, welcome back, Gringo. Missed you on the last episode.
Man, you guys killed it, man. Great stuff. And thank you guys for joining in. Shout out to Clarence McLean, the hardest working man in the boxing show game. Chicano Prophet El Chile HCP in the house, man. Let's go ahead and get to it. First of all, let me shout out to myself for being a hypocrite. I said that, you know what, if they're on at the same time, I'm going to watch the men, and the ladies came through. It was ladies' night in Madison Square Garden. What a hell of a night. What a hell of an event. Now, I know you said that you're heartbroken, Manny. Hopper, we know that you're heartbroken. We'll talk about that fight later. But for me, I just sat back, and I didn't really have a dog in the fight. And as far as like an event, just talking about that real quick, I think it's very hard sometimes to live up to expectations. And, with boxing, we do a good job, not with always selling and promoting all fights, but when we have certain ones, as far as making a spectacle, no one can touch us. And last night was an example of that. I think that was phenomenal, from the 3 national anthems, the entrances, the pageantry. It was just something magnificent. Like, I was watching something, I knew I was watching something historic, and I was very proud of my sport at that moment. And then the ladies didn't disappoint. So I want to talk about that first, as far as like, before we get about what woulda, coulda, shoulda happened and disappointments. I just wanted to acknowledge, and it's very rare we can give appreciation to our sport. So I wanted to make sure we did that. And the ladies, much love to you guys. Chicano Prophet, definitely, he said hell of a fight. Absolutely, man, it was hell of a fight. So our brother Hopper, go ahead and lead us off, man, because you're the one that's the most hungover, so you got the most to say. So let's hear it, brother.
It's that noticeable, bro?
No.
I was trying to play it off a little bit.
It's not. We can't verify that or not.
That's due to the excitement of the fights. I mean, the adrenaline was still flowing in my veins. I couldn't really fall asleep, so I stayed up a little bit and rewatched the fight. We watched the women's fight again, play some Call of Duty, but. Man, what an atmosphere! Shout out to
that. You play Call of Duty.
On top of that, I still couldn't fall asleep, man.
I couldn't even get the controller.
It's like that. It's like that when the Mavericks play too. Though, like, it's hard for me to fall asleep. But anyways, back to the women's fights. Shout out to everybody that had a hand in that promotion. Eddie Hearn, Jake Paul. They partnered with the WWE. We talked about it. The fans in attendance. It was what? I would say 60-40 Irish, maybe 55-45. They were a little bit more vocal than the Puerto Ricans, I think. Just 55-45 is fair, Manny.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah,
I see that.
But the atmosphere was electric, man. Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano did not disappoint. I'm gonna go ahead and say it, man. I didn't disagree with the decision. I mean, I think what gets everybody riled up in situations like this is the scorecards. The scorecards always leave a sour taste in people's mouths, especially that 96-93 one. Only giving Amanda Serrano 3 rounds, and I think that's what kind of rubs people the wrong way. And like I always say, close fights aren't necessarily robberies. You know, close fights are close fights. If they would have said Amanda Serrano was the winner, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. 1 point either way or draw, I would. It was a close fight. I think Katie Taylor started off well. Maybe I had her up 2-1 the first 3 rounds, and then Amanda Serrano kind of took over in the middle rounds. That 5th round was as dominant as it gets for Amanda. She just dominated that round, but I think she punched herself out in that 5th round because that was her highest output in the round, and you could tell noticeably towards the end of the round, end of the fight, Amanda was a little tired, and that's when Katie stormed back and convincingly won. I would say 7, 8, and 9, and then 10 was maybe up in the air for. Do you give Amanda the work for closing the round out, or do you still give Katie Taylor the effective counterpunching that she was still displaying? But like I said, close fights aren't robberies. I'm sorry, Manny. I know you feel differently. I know you probably want to shoot me through the screen, but I don't necessarily disagree with the decision, man. I don't. If they would have said Amanda won, cool. Katie won, cool. Draw, cool. It was the close fights. It's the scorecards though that always leave a bad taste.
Excuse me. Yeah. Great points there. And yeah, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. Manny, I can tell by your posturing that you want to jump at the bit. So let's hear it, brother.
That I said.
We don't get to this to agree a lot, and I am 100% aligned with what you just said right now. It's when a close fights, that's not a robbery, and you're absolutely right. It's the moments that for a second when we look at those scorecards and it's so uneven, and then a lot of people don't understand the pointing system, and I'm going to put it very very like with rice and beans, like simple for you. That means that Amanda won 3 rounds and Katie won 7. So when you think about that, you're like, oh shit, no way. I mean, Amanda had a much better participation. Some of these rounds, they were very close, and you and I have always talked about what judges are looking and who they're going to lean on when it comes to very close fight. Are you more active? Did you finish strong? Maybe that may not be the case. Maybe it's just how they started in the round. And Katie Taylor seemed like to start on the right, path and being very active at the beginning of every round. And then Amanda Serrano kind of closed it, but it was like one of those, it's like a horse race, that the horse, starts to lead, and here comes the other horse on the outside and just barely gets to that finish line, right? And that tends to happen. But when people think about 10-3, it's disturbing to see these professional judges in where they're just completely throwing away and adding more injury to the already painful sport in boxing. And those casuals are hurt. Shout out to the Puerto Rican community. I don't think I've seen them so close together and excited to see a fight. We haven't seen anything like this since the Cotto times, since the Tito Trinidad, since the Camacho, and when the entire island is paralyzed. People are desperate to see, how can I watch this fight? And we've seen that through social media. How can I get the zone? How can I download it? I want to see it. Can I pay just one night? Hey, heck with it. I'm going to go ahead and pay the full year because I'm going to get my money's worth. So shout out to all the Puerto Rican community tuning in on something that was extremely important, not only for the sport of boxing, but also for women's boxing. As it pertains to the fight, guys, I mean, Katie Taylor started really strong, and here's my thing though. That 5th round was a difference maker, and it was like when you're fishing out there and you're just throwing a little small bait, but all of a sudden you go take another cane and throw a bigger bait, and that's what happened to Katie Taylor. She bit on Amanda Serrano's game plan, corner her in the corner, and that's where the action happily started. I would hate to see if this donkey judge gave that 5th round to Katie Taylor, which they didn't, and I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that
he gave it to Amanda. He 10-8 actually.
Yeah, and then 6th round, the same thing. Now here's the issue. And I thought it was needed. I actually called it upon the 2nd, 7th, and 8th round. Amanda knew she needed to take a little bit of a breather, and she kind of stepped back and allowed Katie Taylor to continue with her initial game plan. What was it? Moving around the ring, sticking in with a jab, just walking the ring around and just having Amanda continue to follow her. She got cornered up again, 8-9 round, and that was a very difficult 2 rounds to score. I mean, I have up to 3 to 4 rounds that were very difficult to score.
Swing rounds.
And, yeah, and I'm not disappointed about the card. I mean, yes, you always tend to root for the one, and I think it was more of an emotional part of it. How Amanda Serrano trained and focused at her prime, both are the prime. Amanda Serrano is the type of person, and I talked about it in the previous show. She's so committed to the point that you see the videos afterwards. She's already started shadowing and started to train in Jake Paul. It's campaigning already. Let's fucking run it again. Let's go to Ireland now. Let's run it. Let's see how the Irish react as we bring another massive main event with women's boxing, making history. And sorry, Jake, lost that $1 million bet, but I'm sure you're gonna recoup that, or you did.
Couch money for him.
Yeah, I mean, but let's run it again. Amanda Serrano doesn't even own a cell phone, guys. She doesn't care about social media. She doesn't care about any distractions
she wants to train.
that can prevent her from parting ways from the purpose of just training and focusing in my career. When you put this all in together and you see the time spent, you tend to get a little bit emotional because the decision didn't go her way. I would have rather have to see it a draw rather than see maybe Taylor, but I was okay with it. In shock, of course, I was expecting mine to be able to get up with the decision. But the reality is, as humble as Amanda Serrano is, she said it clearly. This was not a robbery. She is who we think she was. She is that person. Prime. Katie Taylor, we all knew this was going to happen. So sad enough, but excited that possibly we're going to see a rematch and we're going to have another chance to run it over again. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, a lot of people, obviously social media was buzzing as far as from the event and how it went. People had, strong takes on both sides and just kind of their thoughts on what happened. Shout out to Clarence McLean, the hardworking man in the boxing game. Social media, can't wait to see it again. I'm with you on that, brother. I definitely
Clarence
see you on
Live
that.
McLean.
Chicano
Donkey
Prophet,
Judge.
HCP, Donkey Judge. That's a new term for me. Unfortunately, it's one we have to use in boxing too often, sir.
We had
HLD. Shout out to you.
Judge
Thanks
of the
for tuning
week.
in. So yeah, one thing I'll just go ahead and say for me, I saw the fight 6-4 for Serrano. I thought that first of all, she landed more punches and her punches caused more damage. Don't get me wrong. I was really impressed with Katie Taylor. I've heard some people say that they weren't, or they're expecting more. I was expecting less, to be honest. I was thinking that maybe she was past her prime because that's kind of the bill of goods we were being sold.
What we saw. Yep.
So that's far from the truth.
She really prepared for this one.
For me personally, I mean, I'll just be honest. I'm getting more into female boxing, and this helped catapult me even more. One thing that I'll say, I've kind of been, and shout out to Calic for bringing this up. I never really thought about it before. Sometimes being different is better. And I think that us having the mindset, us being boxing fans, guys, that female boxing and male boxing need to have the same 3-minute rounds. Do you think we would have got the same action, if it would have been 3-minute rounds? If like those 2-minute rounds, like that was a 20-minute fight, man. It flew by and left me wanting more.
Yeah. I think it was a difference.
Wrong. It's a high level of talent. So what's your thoughts on that? Because that's one thing they kind of seemingly not even hinted at. They straight up said at the end. Katie Taylor said, like, let's run it back and let's do 3-minute rounds.
Really? Because I think Amanda had threw it out there. I think Amanda
threw it out there earlier.
Katie
Negotiations were out. Amanda threw it out there. Let's go ahead and do 3-minute rounds. And Katie Taylor was the one that said no. I mean, for whatever contractual implications, that I don't think it was going to be any issue changing everything to 3-minute rounds and actually changing the whole sport itself, basically, and moving it on to maybe one fight or maybe doing it in all fights for women's boxing. But I think definitely we stayed with that sense of, like, it's like throwing some meats in the grill and smelling it and not being able to actually get a taste of it yet. that's the feeling I got, with just 2-minute
Making
rounds.
Gringo
I wanted to
hungry.
see more. I wanted to see a
I
little
forgot
bit
we were doing
more.
the show.
I want to really taste that. I wanted to get that
Picturing the
meat
steak
out of the
segment.
bone and be able to enjoy it and be able to leave nothing on the table. And I think there was a lot. I think you said it yesterday in our chat. There was a lot of meat left in the bone that we could have seen a lot. And this could have turned to be something different. Hey, maybe 2-minute round, but 12 rounds. You see what I'm saying? So I think we needed a little bit more.
2 minute, 12 rounds. Yeah, something different. But I mean, at the same time, you have to. Oh man, this is gonna sound sexist as hell, but the women, you have to set the rules up equal to their capabilities and their body capabilities. You don't necessarily want to push them to the same rules as the men, because there are differences in men and women, obviously. Oh, Captain Obvious over here, but
ladies.
I think you want to. I think 2 minutes.
What's your chancleta? You're gonna throw your chancleta. Stop it, mijo.
I like the 2-minute round because I think if you push it to 3-minute rounds, you run the risk of a lot of inactivity, a lot of holding, I think these 2-minute rounds, it gets the actions started fast because they only have 2-minute rounds, so there's no feel out rounds, feel out moments. It's more action, straight to the point. And I think with the 3-minute rounds, you run the risks of maybe them tiring out sooner. Like we saw after the fifth round, even in 2-minute rounds, Amanda Serrano kind of tired herself out in the 5th round. So I think it's good where it's at, man. That's my take.
That's what I'm saying. Like I've been team 3-minute rounds, because I'm a sexist pig. Shout out to me. Nah, I'm really not. I love the ladies.
Wow, what a jerk.
I am. So I was thinking to myself, like, you have to make it equal. But to your point, some things just,
some things just can't, man.
It can't be.
Like, see let me ask you this, Gringo. You know how the WNBA always struggles with viewership. If they lowered the rim, you think that would probably create a little more excitement, dunking and a little more dunks and everything. But they want to keep it at 10 feet like the men, and they struggle with just exciting layups. So, but I think
that's a good point.
Lower it down a little bit. See, that's where we run the risk. If you run the risk for 3-minute rounds, keep it like the men. That's what I'm trying. You see the correlation that I'm trying to.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like okay. So what about this though? Like before we move on, let me get to this comment real quick from HLD. Good point right here. And I see O'Connell Loco is ready. He's fired up. I heard you go live, brother, man. You were fired up on that live, man.
Yeah.
I thought you were about to hurt yourself, brother. O'Connell was fired up. All right, so effective punching, defense ranked generalship, effective punching. Amanda Serrano dominated all criteria. Man. Mm-hmm. All right, so got to get to our belt. O'Connell Loco, the source. They can't do 3-minute rounds because the WBC won't sanction it. Had it agreed at 3-minute rounds, it would not be.
Yeah, but they can change the rules. They just didn't want to do it at the last minute. If Katie Taylor would have pushed for it too as well, I mean, they can make those changes, and Eddie Hearn could have just really pushed it in there. So there's possibilities, but I think you got to have both parties to 100% agree and push for that move.
Well, I'll say this for me. Before I thought 3 minutes was a must. Now I kind of like the action and the beauty of the 2-minute rounds. I to be honest, like it. I was torn, and I came away with here's the thing. I came away a greater appreciation. First of all, of Irish fans. I really thought it was gonna be more Puerto Ricans in the house, and they were loud. But man, Irish came to represent. Also, as far as like, I knew it was gonna be a big event, but it exceeded my expectations as far as how the presentation was and everything. The fighting, the quality. The level of skill that was displayed, was great, and then just the nonstop action. I mean, there was because that's the thing. We're talking about taking a round off, and I just kind of put things in context. Back to Hopper's point. So the round where the 5th round that people were talking about, Serrano landed 44 punches. He threw 114. Right. So the 6th round, the round that we're saying, she slowed down or took some time off. Really, she was about half that. She threw 73, which is still a lot.
Still a lot.
Actually, that's more. That's double than Taylor did, and she landed, 19. The round where it seemed they both took off and where things were, I call the swing round, and it's almost identical. It's crazy. Like Serrano threw 38 punches, and Taylor threw 24, and they both only landed 6. And then from there, it shifted a little bit. That's a huge drop off. So it was basically in that 6th round.
I see what you guys are saying, where Serrano outlanded overall, but you know how they say you can't look at the punch totals because maybe somebody had a big round that kind of jumped up their punch totals. So you got to look at it round by round. And Amanda Serrano did have that huge 5th round where she outlanded Katie 44-14. But all the other rounds, if you look at them, you see Katie outlanded Serrano the 3rd, the 4th, the 8th, the 9th. So I mean, there's some rounds in there where Katie definitely outlanded Serrano, and they had that six punch landed each. But I want to say this though, fellas. Shout out to Katie Taylor, man. Her life is going to be a movie. Her whole story.
It already is.
Movie. No, it's gonna. They already have a movie out of her life already.
Not a movie, but
they will watch.
It will be because from top to bottom, man.
What they said is that when she started boxing, it was illegal in Ireland for women to compete in fights like that. So she had to
pretend she was a boy.
She had to dress up as a boy. It blew my wife's mind, like when she heard that she had to dress up as a boy to compete with the boys in the amateurs, and then they changed the rule because of her. So, and then to win this mega fight, that's the ending you need right there for a movie. I mean, there's going to be a movie coming out about Katie Taylor. I guarantee you, with the money hungry way these Hollywood execs are.
All right, so let me get to these comments real quick because the chat is firing up. We appreciate you guys tuning in and also listening on archive and those listening to the audio version of this. So our man, the myth, the legend, Chicano Prophet, HCP El Chile in the house. The final 10 seconds of the last round is what we used to cheer for. Unfortunately, it's super rare these days to even see. Yeah, I mean,
it's great.
Once you hear that,
it's great to see that at the end of the 10th round, which whoever thinks it's ahead of the game usually always sees just let's get that those rollerblades on and start running around. No, these girls, they just stayed in the middle of the arena exchanging. And giving us excitement all the way down to the sound of the bell. And not only that, in a few rounds, I think it was through 2 rounds, the bell had rung, and then they're still fighting.
Referee had to go in there. Hear it.
Yep.
No, that's a great call out. WBC won't do it. And again, he's talking about going to the 3-minute round. Shout out to the source, El Cano Loco Sports. Definitely tune into his channel, man. Great stuff there. And tune into Chicano Prophet as well, man. Great content. Puerto Rican rum in the house. I had Serrano 6-4. Either way, great fight, and that's how I feel, man. I didn't have a dog or a horse in a race, however you want to say it, but I was pulling for the sport, and I think the sport won. Yeah, definitely. I know people have strong feelings as far as if you're a fuller for Serrano, like she was robbed, and I could see that. Even though I had her winning, but it was really close, close fight. It's not Olympic scoring. These are the pros. Definitely. What's up, D-Style? That last comment was from HLD. Shout out to you, brother. What's good, El Capitan, HCP? Thanks for tuning in, man. Much love. Again, Puerto Rican rum. I thought Serrano landed the harder punches.
She did. Here's something interesting. Here's something interesting about that thought right there. First of all, shout out to my cousin Danny PR. Was in the house yesterday. My uncle, the biggest critic in boxing, and also thinks he's a judge, but he failed last night. David and my aunt Sydney, great food last night. We had an awesome time. Amanda Serrano became the counterpuncher in some parts of some rounds. I mean, she was trying to beat Katie on her own game, and that was really good to see, because we know for a fact that 55% of Katie Taylor's fight, it's a counterpunching. So I love that. I love the fact that Amanda, came into her game plan. Amanda really said she wasn't afraid to really lose it at one particular point. All she wanted to do is give excitement to the fans.
Definitely.
I think early on, Katie was landing the left. The left was finding a home on Amanda Serrano.
And Serrano started hitting the body. I thought she would hit the body more, but Serrano started hitting the body. And then when I watched it again, I said Amanda pulled back for the body, because that's where Katie, as soon as she goes to the body, that was Katie who's taking it back. I'll take the punch.
As soon as she felt the punch close to the body, boom, left to the face. Left to the face. Left to the face.
No, definitely. Also, let me get to this real quick. Some more great comments. Puerto Rican rum. Also, I thought Serrano.
She almost dropped her in the 5th round
several times.
That knee almost touched.
I think also in the last round too, it wasn't mentioned. Yeah, D-Style, definitely a phenomenal fight. ACP in the house. HLD, the 5th round should have been a 10-8.
It was. One of the judges did have it a 10-8 round.
The donkey judge.
Guri Cavillani or something.
And that's funny, because he had a 96-93, and he had called 10-8.
JC had a 6-4 Katie. I kind of leaned this way too.
Said not a robbery.
I lean with JC, 6'4" Katie.
All right. I say 6'4" Serrano. So, obviously you want to go with that, guys, if you're, scoring at home. All right. So, no 10-8 unless it's actual knockdown. Yeah, exactly. I mean, out on your feet is bad. And that's another thing. I think that's where the opportunity was missed, which is weird. The judge, the donkey judge, as our brother Manny said, that had the wise score actually gave it a 10-8, which is not really in the rule book.
He had the right round, but then the horrible score.
Yeah, like, what are you doing, bro? But hey, whatever.
Yeah, but that's Guido Cavalieri who had it 96-93. And then you had Glenn Feldman 97-93. He only gave Serrano 4, 5, and 6. That is it. I'm like, I get it, but man.
And that's the thing, though, bro. At the end of the day, Katie Taylor's promoted by Eddie Hearn, DAZN. It's always gonna, you hate to say it, but
so do you feel like because
she's the champion too? So they all, how that always.
But it's been a couple controversial fights with Eddie Hearn in terms of like the judges not getting it right. Is this something that's becoming a norm for any fights?
I think it's been a norm, bro. Been a norm for all the promotions.
But it didn't happen. I mean, it's been a norm around. The PBC when we talk about Top Ranks. It's been a norm
with
them.
Rank, we've always seen fairness. The House Fighter always has.
I think that's kind of like your
conspiracy
supporter goggles. I mean, this is boxing, bro. It's always been like that.
It's always been like that,
you follow, go back to Eddie Hearn, back in more of those domestic UK fights. That's what they do, man. That's kind of the game.
The House Fighter always has a +1 round advantage already, man.
Poor kid know that going in. Our local kid just got completely robbed. We talked about that.
And fuck Serrano trainer. Hey, yo, brother. I hear you.
JC.
Man, they got some pent-up aggression over there. That has to be a rematch. So I want to touch on that real quick before we get into the next fight, which was a shellacking. Puerto Rican Rum, that has to have a rematch. I don't know. All right, so Tony Bellew, a guy I never agree with, but I do listen to because he's on TV. He says that Katie Taylor, because she was busted up, irregardless of you thought she won, she lost, it was a draw. She had taken a beating and a lot of punishment, more than probably what she had. I was disappointed, and shout out to El Maestro. He was saying on Ringside Reporter just earlier this morning that he was there at the fight and he went to the press conference, and Katie Taylor, the Serrano seemed to take the high road and appreciation and embracing the moment. They both were, but Katie Taylor never called it her toughest fight. She never said that this was the toughest opponent. She never said that she was hurt. She never acknowledged the fact that how much damage she actually took. Does she have to? No, she's a proud champion, and she took her belts back home with her. But that's a little disappointing. But it is, they're not perfect. They're fighters, and that's kind of the way it is.
You don't have to. I think you prove yourself in the ring. If that's what you think of.
I want a perfect world, and the world is far from perfect. So my questions.
So what do you want? What do you want? The Katie say, "Oop, that was not my."
Yeah, like shit. I don't know how they gave me the scorecard, but I'll take it.
Gave it to me. Yes.
Yeah. No. I know the game. So my question to you guys is. And first, you, Hopper, do you want to see it again? Yes or no? Point blank.
Of course, it has to happen. There is no other alternative for either fighter. It was that close that it warrants a rematch. If you go to the message boards on social media, you'll see people say robbery. You see other people good decision, and it's divided like that. It has to be ran back. There is no other fight for each one, man. And yes, like I've said, I will repeat it again. Close fights aren't robberies.
Yeah, definitely. Good stuff. Hard times. Thanks for tuning in. Much appreciation, brother. It was a great fight, close fight, but I had it 6-4 for Katie. The robbery language is too much. I hear you, brother. Man. But there's a lot of passion.
We gotta save the robbery for actual robberies. I'm talking Juan Carlos Burgos, Rocky Martinez type style robberies. Legit Manny Pacquiao, Timothy Bradley robberies. Those we gotta save that R word.
Oscar De La Hoya Trinidad robberies. Yeah,
Oscar De La Hoya, Tito Trinidad. That was the robbery of the century. We gotta save that R word, man. We can't throw out every close fight. We can't throw out robbery.
All right, get these comments real quick. I want to hear about my brother Manny if he wants to see it back. I think he does. Gringo saludos and everyone saludos. Jaime Garcia, Puerto Rico has a great champion for many years, and Shakur and Newark Stevenson. All right, well, we're about to get into that in a little bit, and man, but hold on. What you thought, man? Do you want to see this fight again?
Listen, just simple. And Amanda Serrano said it the best. Women can sell. Women can box. right?
Mm-hmm.
And
The
they can
latest
also
fight of
make
the
money,
night.
which both they did. Both made $1 million plus on this fight. They both sell out. It is the very first time women headlined in Madison Square Garden. 45, 55, whether it's Puerto Ricans, whether it's Irish. I think this was a fight that it's a must because it's going to lift the sport of boxing, not only for women, but all across the board. And not only that, now you're going to go to Ireland and you're going to, have them an opportunity to showcase themselves, what they can do as a host. 100% with Jake Paul behind and Eddie Hearn. Fuck, let's do it again.
Man, I like that. I like the fuck part you added in there. Absolutely, brother. Some good stuff there. One comment I wanted to kind of get to real quick, D-Style, much love, brother. Because Pursoon was her toughest fight? Nah, I disagree,
Twice.
man. Definitely not the second one. She ran through
No,
like hot knife through butter.
It was an identical because I talked about it in the brief. It was identical style from Amanda, but yesterday my cousin was saying, "Well, why don't Amanda fight Pursoon?" Listen, there's no need to be in there. I mean, I think Amanda is superior more than Pursoon, and I think Katie Taylor struggled with these kind of styles. And I think if they run it again, there's going to be some things Amanda will do different. Katie as well. That's why it makes it exciting to say, all right, what are the things we're going to change? Do they need to change anything? No, it was like a perfect fight. It was a great fight. No, listen, they're going to come different, but it's going to be a hell of a battle from start to the end. Damn.
All right, so I'll go ahead and say this. This is a hot take, and this will probably get banned from the show, which is weird.
Take.
But I'm going to go ahead and say that I don't think there's going to be another. They're not going to be a rematch.
Oh, come on.
No?
No, tell
Wow,
me.
Gringo always.
I mean, he just said he just said like for the good of the sport. I didn't have anyone in it, but for the good of the sport.
Don't you say you don't think it's gonna happen, or you don't want it to happen?
No, I want it to happen. Let's clarify that. I want it to happen. I want free healthcare. I want all of those things to happen. But
free food.
But I want some donuts later after the show. But as far as like, I don't think that. I think that Taylor's wants to go out on top, right?
So unless
she can't.
Are you saying
so
she's retiring?
On the line.
Are you breaking news
girls
here?
have never made the amount of money. How much money do you think they're going to make on the next one? Especially her hosting over there.
Again,
she's never hosted something amazing like this.
You're preaching to the choir. I'm just saying what I think is going to happen, not what I want.
Just trying to go against
I think she's going to retire. Yeah, I do.
Wow, Gringo's breaking news here, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate you guys, man. We're here every Sunday.
Gringo was doing such a good job until.
Hey, I didn't say that's what I want. Look, man, you guys, Tony Bell, you said it. You didn't say nothing. You guys hate it.
You're allowed to destroy Gringo at this particular time.
No, you're not. All right, so let me say this real quick before we get to Oscar Valdez and how he was destroyed. All right, so real quick, this is important. I forgot what I was going to say. No, seriously. No, that was a very historic fight again. It was great to watch. It was amazing. I'm glad that we got to see both, and it wasn't a card stacking. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that one thing the Zone and Matchroom did, they didn't try to kill our East Coast brothers so they can watch the fight in peace.
Yes,
because man, again, it was a great moment and a great fight for boxing, and I'm excited. I do hope they fight again, but I don't know. I kind of something tells me that I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't happen again. I mean, I just think that also I'll say I have a greater appreciation for both ladies. Amanda Serrano going up 2 weight classes. I mean, hell of a fighter. And I don't often do this, but shout out to Jake Paul for making that fight happen.
Yep.
I do agree with D-Style. Yeah, I don't think they would necessarily need if they were to go ahead and make a second fight, but I don't think there's going to be another fight, man. I hope I'm wrong, but we'll see.
Listen, money talks. And this is going to be the richest fight in the sport. It already is, but it's going to be even better. Man. Even, dude, it has to happen for business. Remember, everything's about business, and everything's about what the people want. And when people are paying for that, and then you get the opportunity in Ireland to have something amazing, even better, let me see what they can do hosting a big fight. You see what I'm saying? I mean, Conor McGregor, he's the icon over there.
Shit,
I mean,
Michael
all these
Collins
other guys
still
are
big over there.
Michael Collins. Come on, give him an opportunity.
His last fight. He was in the war his last fight.
Give him an opportunity to host.
You guys are preaching to the choir. I'm just telling you she's going to retire. I'm not sure why
she's going to retire, then unretire, and then come.
Yeah,
I think Gringo wrote that thought when he was sleepy and thinking about food. I'm gonna say in the show she's gonna retire. Man, we're gonna come back to you.
You guys can add me. There's not gonna be a rematch. So just put it out there. They're never gonna fight again. Maybe if they make a video game. All right, so G Funky, shout out to G Funky in the house, man, keeping it funky. I had it Taylor 6'4". All right, good stuff for you, brother, and we appreciate you tuning in, man. Let's get to it, man. Ain't nothing to do but to do it. Hot diggity damn. This is the fight we were really looking forward to, and I don't say it disappointed, but it disappointed. As far as like, I really expected more excitement. I expected more intrigue, but a dominant performance is, you got to acknowledge it. I'll go ahead and say it. I don't like to throw that word out there because I think sometimes maybe
robbery
masterclass, but I think it was a masterclass. I think that Shakur really put on a hell of a performance, man. He pretty much did whatever he wanted. And I'll also kind of throw out there too that Oscar Valdez, man, not a fan of the game plan. The high guard, what was that all about? But anyway, that's just my opinion. Hopper, what's your thoughts, brother?
Well, first I lost $50. I put $50 on Bovada because the 5-1 odds on Oscar Valdez. But oh well, ni modo.
And he called it a knockout.
I mean, I'm a ride with my guys, man, and there was nothing Oscar Valdez could do to counter Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson was just bigger, faster, sharper, better footwork, better defense, slicker. I mean, it was pretty much. Like I said, masterclass performance by Shakur Stevenson, man. There's really not much to dissect. I think maybe the only thing Oscar could have done differently was sell out a little more. That's what, as I said, that he needed to do was attack the body, and he had to find a way to get on the inside. But it seemed like every time he tried to get close, Shakur had an answer for it. He either had an uppercut that would land, he would either have a left hand that would land. And pretty much Shakur did whatever Shakur wanted to do, man, in this fight. And talk about how big Shakur was, man. I mean, did you see the massive difference in size? I mean, that's maybe why he struggled a little bit to make weight.
No way he would
that's
start
a
going
big boy, man. That kid is big.
Yeah, he's definitely filled out. It seems like he looks bigger and more broad every time I see him. So
he's working with. I hadn't seen him that big, and I don't think in any fight I haven't seen him that size. And Shakur Stevenson, man, he wants to play the bad guy so bad. He's trying so hard, and I get what he's doing, and he wants to make himself more marketable. I don't know. I think it comes across as disingenuous. I think he's just trying a little too hard, man. Just be yourself, bro. You be yourself. You'll sell it like that. He's trying to copy the money man a little bit, I think.
What do you think, Gringo? I agree a little bit. I mean, I think there is inside of everybody, like if you portray something that's within you. So I think he is an asshole. Like I think that's part of who he is. He's
cocky as hell.
Yeah, so he's cocky as hell. I don't think that's an act. I think that's truly who he is.
True. That's true.
So I overheard him when they had the state of boxing on the after on the ESPN Plus, and they kind of had where they were talking back and forth, but they had where they were Shakur Stevenson was sitting in the chair and he was talking to somebody, I'm not sure. And he was just saying about, I knew I won after the first round when I saw him coming with that high guard.
That's such confidence, bro. That's
you need to have that. I'm not saying that's negative, but I'm just saying like his swagger and his cockiness and confidence, the whole bad guy thing. I think that kind of on the parallel the same fence. I think that's who he is. Now how he articulates that, that's kind of on him. But I think there is some of that. What's your thoughts, Manny? Because I know this is. You've been Team Shakur for a while now.
Yeah. No, and he's who we thought he was, and I knew it was going to be very, very difficult for Oscar Valdez to try to keep himself in the inside, as big as Shakur Stevenson is, and as a prepare he came in, it was just a matter of time in where now we're going to see the massive destruction of different kinds of combinations. Difficult to spot where that punch is coming from. Oscar Valdez just struggled across the board completely on that. I was hoping to see a little bit better, but it was just the speed of Shakur and the defense. He can throw 2 jabs and still move himself back, kind of block some of the other punches and be a bit confusing and frustrate you. And I told you, Hopper, Oscar Valdez will get frustrated. And he's just gonna get careless. And
I'll get frustrated.
I know it was a cheap shot. When he almost touched the canvas. It wasn't like a big knockout, but I don't want people to think that Shakur Stevenson will be a knockout artist. I think that Shakur Stevenson has the ability to finish all his fights, all through the 12 rounds and dominate completely the same way he did in the last night. By the way, shout out, congratulations. He actually popped the question to the long time fiance, girlfriend, just popped
Shout
it
out
up
to the
and wanna
baby
get married.
mama.
So shout out for that. Did it on the biggest stage.
Or
Nothing to
ex-fiance,
take
my bad.
back from, the opportunity that Shakur is trying to do, and something that it's caused a lot of emotions out there. And I feel like I've talked to people about this, and they're very emotional. The way Shakur Stevenson tried to promote himself for the first time as a Puerto Rican, saying phrases like, soy boricua de pura cepa. That is something that a lot of Puerto Ricans took a little personal, right? Boricua de pura cepa means I am from the country. I live here. I'm born here, and it's okay. You still have the Puerto Rican blood, but you're doing it at a night where you're trying to grab some fans on the night where Amanda Serrano's fighting. I don't think a lot of people took it right, but I didn't see it that way. I saw he's going back to his roots. We knew he was going back to his roots a couple of years ago. Learned a little bit more about that. Hey, what's happening in Puerto Rico right now. If he wants to promote himself and represent of who he is, that's no problem at all. I have no problem whatsoever. Don't be the mean guy. Utilize your IQ. Utilize the fact that you're young, talented, and you can promote yourself that way. I just don't think right now at the 130 pounds, no one can beat Shakur Stevenson. And I tell you what, I think the next fight could be for all the belts at the 135 pounds. That is a privilege that he has earned. I don't think that fighting Roger Gutierrez and unifying, or even Kenichi Ogawa for the IBF or the WBA will be interest, unless he really wants to unify it again. But he's got to fight twice, right? Unless, Gutierrez unifies against, the Japanese, and then gives him an opportunity and then goes for all the belts. That is a different story. But the reality is right now is we have more action than, coming up at the 135 with a huge possibility of someone we knew that eventually he'll end up his career, probably the Junior Walter or somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
But the honest thing about what we heard back when Shakur Stevenson started dominating in the featherweights, we heard that he will be the future pound for pound king. Now you're seeing it. He is in path to be that.
Man, you are drinking the Shakur's Kool-Aid, brother.
Oh man, Irish cream. With
Bailey's. All right, so let's go ahead and get to these comments real quick before I come with some bad takes. Get the bad takes in your mouth. Here we go. Puerto Rican rum.
Yep.
That fight went exactly like I thought it would. Well, damn, brother. Why don't you let us know so I wouldn't have to? No, I was playing. I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah, same.
I'm always glad I watched fights.
Hold on, breaking news. Gringo, are you saying that Shakur Stevens is going to retire?
Wouldn't you?
Breaking news. Shakur's retiring. Wow.
That's the new trend in 2022. After you fight
everybody
and nobody thinks they can beat you, then hey,
he doesn't want to retire.
Run it all, man.
I mean, he just got one last thing I want to say. One last thing. For those fans who really hate the Reynoso legacy, this is a time to lift yourself up because they are a little bit quiet. Reynoso is a little bit quiet now until he gets his chance, people, and Canelo, he'll lift himself up. But I just started hating it. I just started seeing that, and a lot of people is like, yes, humble down a little bit, Reynoso.
They'll be back to normal next Saturday, so it's Sunday morning.
Wow.
Everything will be back to normal.
We almost got through a whole show without saying Canelo, too. So.
Oh, that's impossible.
Yeah, you're pop it in. I mean, it's fine. Yeah, it's great action coming up now this next weekend. It's just lovely. It's awesome.
Let's get to these comments again. So, D-Style, I'm hearing he could
have stopped him.
Stopped him and he wanted, but he really couldn't. If he could, he would. That's a good point. Reynoso camp on life support. Oh man. Man.
Hopper, I want to ask you a question. 10th round. 10 seconds left. How do you feel about what Shakur did, trying to humiliate them? And
12th round, the last round.
I mean, 12th round. Sorry, doing the Tour de France. What are your thoughts about that?
Hey, that's his prerogative, man. I thought that was kind of douchey, but hey, he had to fight in the bag already.
It's not kind of douchey. It's all douchey.
Yeah.
Hey, how you guys doing?
What's up,
hey,
Bo?
What's up,
Bo?
Welcome back, Bo.
That means we got some great comments coming in there. We want to acknowledge these real quick. Chicano Prophet, Oscar had no answers.
Oscar had nothing for Shakur.
I had a lot of questions. Simply didn't have the tools to stand a chance. Oh, my bad. D-Style, if Canelo loses, the gym is done. Oh, hey,
retire.
You heard it here first.
Canelo will retire if he
will be a clip. Katie Taylor retires, and Canelo, if he loses against Bivol, that's it. Eddie Reynoso's done as a trainer.
He's retiring as a trainer. Wow.
Hey, yo.
Payday. You want payday. Payday.
It's possible. All right, so here we go. Hard times. How do you think Shakur was?
That's what we pointed out, man.
He's
Shakur
looking at no, he is.
He is. He really is. He's looking real sharp. He's looking like a future star.
They didn't want to reveal how.
Which, by the way, pay-per-view moving forward. I mean, shout out to Top Rack and ESPN putting a fight like this for free. Muska John for free. So that's great. But I think going forward, I think Shakur will probably test the waters in terms of like who can be as a pay-per-view.
What could be his next fight, though? I mean, the other two champions.
Well, I mean, the other two are no match for him. I say for me, he'll move on to 145 and challenge Camboso or Devin Haney, whoever wins that fight. That will be a very interesting move.
Well, unless they have Navarrete move up to 130 from 126,
or that.
There's that too.
But that wouldn't be for a belt though, so I don't know.
Well, he comes as a super champion though. Keep in mind, though, the crappy WBA shit, you're a super champion. You're entitled.
The crappy. You'll be the aluminum champion.
I want to be an aluminum champion.
It's funny. I was trying to explain my
A4 Stevenson ESPN commentary was an abomination. Hey, did you guys see when Ward's card was wrong? They did the graphic wrong.
He was no, that's incorrect. I have it from the fourth round.
No way. That's impossible.
4 rounds.
I honestly, I think I did see Oscar maybe winning one round. That's it.
Really?
1 round?
I had him winning 3-4 rounds.
I gotta see it again, but I think no more than 2. But I gotta see that one again.
That's the Puerto Rican goggles, man. That's the Puerto.
Well,
you have Amanda winning every round, and you have Oscar losing every round.
Yeah. Katie Taylor retired. It was an amazing night. Shakur was 148 on Fight Night. Damn. He looked like it though. He looked like it.
Yeah.
All right. So Puerto Rican rum. Shakur is trying to turn heel. He turned it, man. He turned it. Shakur will be 135 soon.
There you go.
About the winner.
That's the fight, D-style, homeboy. That's the fight that I think it will benefit.
Well, if Haney wins, he's gonna have to fight him again twice. So,
well, I mean, exactly. It's a rematch clause, but I think if that will be an amazing move up for him in trying to go out there and prove himself at the 135, which he's going to, man. He's going to. There's no one can stop Shakur Stevenson right now.
Hard times, man. Thanks again, Shakur. Post fight. That he beat Canelo was a little too much, but that's what you do, man. When you turn heel,
association, just throw Canelo in the mix to get your popularity up.
Yeah, I mean, look at it worked. We're talking about it right now, so it's marketing.
Well, I mean, we got to give it a props, right? It's Canelo week,
so. That makes more sense now. Also, too, now I like that Puerto Rican run, but also remember that's the thing that even though he took his victory lap way too long, and shout out to D-Style because I agree with him on that, but he did. Either way, we like it or not, we have clarity at 135. I mean, so basically you're going to have Haney Kambosos twice, and then the winner fights Lomachenko. So if Shakur can fight it, if Shakur can get into there some way, and then also, we got Crying Ryan at some point. He'll fit in there as well at some point.
Shakur Lomachenko.
He is amazing. He's making
commercials with Damian Lillard. Remy, I don't support women. Hey,
Shakur? Is throwing shots at Shakur? I didn't say it, Manny. I didn't want to say it.
I didn't either. I mean,
Shakur, it is what it is. I mean, he's very.
I mean, it's out there. It's out there. What can you do?
Touch about that, man.
Hey, the truth hurts. But yeah, we don't support that either for sure.
You have the right to say you're wrong, and you have the right to be,
Don't touch that comment.
Don't even touch it, bro. Just move on.
Let's move on. Yeah, get out of here.
No, woman beaters. Yeah. All right, so the issue about saying he beat Canelo is that it's an inaccurate statement. No, that's true. It's true that it wasn't true. Anyone getting bent out of shape about that is thin skinned. Well, I'm thin skinned. That's me. Ramir wrote that, bro. Oh, man. Jaime Garza in the house, man. Check him out. All access to Elite Jimmy Blue. Man, he likes talking about the drama. So
yeah, the after fight.
He loves
the family brawl in the actual fight. Jimmy Blue. Shakur moves up. He will give all the other guy problems. That's a good point. Let's talk about that real quick before we get rid of these. Do you think he would be the man at 135? Hop. Just right now, off top of your head.
Yes.
What? Manny, I already know what Manny's gonna say, but we're gonna ask anyway for the sake of the show.
Yes.
He'd be the man to meet.
He will. He
I think
will.
so,
He will.
yes.
And I think, and I don't want to see him with Contra Cal.
And he's gonna be talking shit the whole time
anything
too.
right now. I think.
No way. And then the last round is just take a Tour de France. You know what? I hate when we agree because it's like, you know, the show is fake, which because it kind of is. But no, I think that if he,
we don't, because he's not retiring either.
135. I mean, who would beat him?
Shakur would not retire now, so we're not agreeing on that. But
Shakur should retire. Absolutely. All right, so
Tank?
Goku's son, 87. Tank is putting him to sleep. Man, I like that. I like the
Tank
fire.
just needs to go out there and get Raleigh
do a one-sided clinic.
We'll talk.
The word clinic is always like makes me pause, like, whoa, you know, like hello. But no, I hear what you're saying. I gave Valdez 2.
Valdez had the 7th and 8th rounds were pretty clear for him in my scorecard. The 2nd, the 7th, 8th, and there was one more where I thought where he won only because I think Shakur took him off.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, I saw like 9-3-8-4.
Yeah.
You know, but it wasn't
clear.
like okay. So I saw this comment too. I don't know what you guys think about that. What version of Oscar? Let's talk about what he does next. Because I know we're big fans of him and we've been supporting him for a long time. It's his first loss, but there's no shame to a guy that is going to dominate the other divisions as well in a clear, strong fighter. So what do you think about Oscar Valdez? What's going to happen with him?
What do you think, Manny?
I think it's just to sit back a little bit, get a little vacation with his family and think things over. But I think he'll probably be back. He'll probably be back. He won't go up to the 135.
To move up.
Yeah, and then he's not going to move up. Definitely, I think Oscar is a little bit too small. And
no. I'm saying like he wants Shakur to move up.
Well, exactly, and then he'll probably come back and he'll probably take another fight. He's not going to get a gatekeeper. I think Oscar still has. He just fought Shakur. And everyone that fights Shakur Stevenson knows, like, hey, it's a loss, but against who? And then 10 years from now, you're probably going to think about that. Man, I fought Shakur Stevenson. I lost, but it was with Shakur. It's the same people who fought Floyd Mayweather, early in the ages. Yes, it was Pretty Boy. It was Money Man. So nothing wrong with that. I think he'll come back, and I think he's got a chance to become a world champ. If Navarrete moves up to 130, he's going to have problems with that. But keep in mind, guys, I love the fact that because all these guys are top ranks, I think we're going to start seeing a lot of good fights for Oscar Valdez in the future. Could be. He's not
going to retire like Katie Taylor, that's for sure.
To redeem himself.
Yeah, he's not going to retire. Here's what I think Oscar's going to do. Right, he's going to take some time off, of course, because this was a massive fight, and then he's going to come back and challenge some obscure guy, or maybe give Supernova a chance. So that'd be great too. But he's gonna fight some random guy, and then the fight they're gonna be working towards. You said it, man. He's Navarrete. They wanted that fight. Bob Arum, if you believe what they write, you see that they're trying to make that Navarrete Oscar Valdez fight. So I think that's where they're trying to. Top Rank is gonna steer to get that fight done. So I think watch for that to happen maybe sometime next year.
Yeah. That would be the next one. He's not in any other organizations. He did clearly a WSP kind of guy. But still, I think that right now with him being able to take some time off and see what's up with him, I think they can probably, go at it. I don't see it as a tune-up. There's no reason for him to have a tune-up. I think he can just go right in there unless WBA wants to give him a shot with him. But anyway, I just think clearly that there's a lot more from Oscar. We haven't seen the last of them yet.
No, and so many great comments, guys. And I apologize for those that are in the chat. I just can't keep up, man. You guys are awesome. But yeah, there's so much more opportunities. Let's say that even though when he's waiting for, obviously the undisputed to be cleared up, there's a lot of good fights and action fights. And
Absolutely.
I think guys that could give him trouble in some good quality competition.
People cruising in the mix, guys.
135.
You can't deny
135.
Not at 130. I mean, at 130, I mean, it's pretty much who is it? Kenichi Ogawa and WBA is what? Roger
Gutierrez.
But the real champion WBA is I don't know, man. WBA.
No. The WBA, the real champ. The WBA is Gutierrez.
But he's the world.
No, but they took away all that stuff at the super featherweight.
They took one away. They still have like 3, I think. So,
but yeah, I know. It was funny because yesterday I've been explaining my uncle who's very bearish when it comes to boxing, hates it, but I'm explaining him the different kind of belts. He's just going crazy like, what the fuck are these belts about? I mean, what can we have a true champion? There is a super champion. Right?
Well,
anyway.
I mean, I think that's why over the years in this new super 4-belt era that the undisputed become more revered and appreciated because it does give some more clarity on what we actually have. And, so I think that's why 135, we're going to get clarity. At 130, there's no doubt, and I think everybody pretty much agrees, it seems like as far as in the chat and through this conversation that there's no – I don't want to get to the point where I'm contradicting myself from before. If the fights are made and he goes undisputed at 130, I'm good with that because I want undisputed and have clarity. We don't want to have the whole – they don't need to fight. Like, if they make the fight, I'm not mad. But I understand why they would move up. And then, honestly, too, even if it's not for a belt, there's more lucrative fights. I mean, it is a sport for, profit. They're prize fighters. So there's more profitable fights where no belt's involved, where they make like a tank fight, like is mentioned right here. D-Style mentions about, tank. A tank Shakur fight would be unbelievably massive fight.
When you said
right now, do you think that will happen right now?
Yourself, Gringo? When you said contradict yourself?
It's like, I don't think it will happen right now, but I think the possibility of it, I think it would be, it's more lucrative than any fight at 130. Even if Navarrete moves up, Tank is way bigger than any fight like that. So even though we like the belts and it gives us clarity, but we also know who the fans want what they want. The big fights are the big fights.
When you said contradict, you were about to contradict yourself, Gringo. I thought you were about to say Katie Taylor, unretired.
No.
Retired and unretired.
What a hell of a career. Shout out to her.
Hey, how you guys doing?
What's up, bro? That means the show's almost over. We got to go ahead and get the final thoughts.
Final thought, man.
All right, so what's up, Hop? Final thoughts, brother.
Well, final thought, it wasn't a good night for Latino fighters yesterday. Oscar Valdez took the L. Amanda Serrano took the L. Jesse Vargas got beat up by Liam Smith. So, hey, we got to take the good with the bad sometimes. It wasn't our night yesterday. La Raza lost. Puerto Ricanos también are right there with us. We took an L. So, hey, you got to take the good with the bad, baby. It happens like that. But don't worry. Next Saturday, we'll be back on track because El Chingon fights and everything will be back to normal. Everything will be balanced in the world, and we'll wake
and
up.
And Canelo retires.
If I look hungover now,
imagine
watch me next Sunday.
Next Sunday he's gonna be comatose. Gringo converting. Absolutely, brother. I'm an evolving person. Manny, what's your thoughts, man? Any final thoughts, brother?
Hey, first of all, I want to shout out my boy Steven and also Tommy. Both of them got a unexpected call last night. It was very fun. Yes, I own you, and I own you now. A bottle of rum, Steven. He actually invited us next week to his house, so most likely we're probably going to be there. I know it's Hopper's birthday, but let me see.
My birthday weekend, man. I'm spending it with my family.
But my final thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, we started talking this show about what? About women's boxing. And I want to congratulate Franken Cruz de Zorn.
Any more retirement news?
Becoming the very first 168 undisputed female last night against not only the Elan Cederos, man. What a great fight. What a great story. It just really started to kind of carve the way into the main event and, putting this stuff together and having now another undisputed with the 168 pounds. Congratulations. Great story with Francon, and I hope to see a lot of stuff. We'll see what happens. Maybe she will retire. Gringo.
Whoa, everybody's retiring.
Breaking news. Any more retirement news? Hard times, you just here to hear first.
But we are today retiring for the day.
Yeah, we're about to retire right now, but we do want to make sure to let everybody know. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. Don't forget to tune into the great content every single week of the HCP Content Network. Weekly, you get great information, great banter, great back and forth. Every week is some new great information. And this is, obviously it's Canelo week. Can you imagine coming off such a huge week? We go into Canelo week. Then we go into Charlo versus Castano 2. I mean, boxing is on fire. And then June, dare I say, maybe even better. I mean, it's an unbelievable time to be a boxing fan. And we thank you guys for being a part of it. But again, man, that was a kind of a rough night for some boxing fans.
Emotional, damn it.
We got through it together, and we appreciate you guys so much. Hey, and we can't wait for that retirement announcement.
I cannot believe my eyes.
I'm retiring.
We out.
EnVivo.
It's Maestro A. It's Kenny T. I'm back in New York City after a weekend in Las Vegas.
We got Power Punchers episode 2, episode dos. Hit that like button as you come in.
Your boy Dave from the 408 coming to you all the way from my podcast studio in San Jose, Califas. You know what time it is. It's time for the shoot.
Everyone, welcome to Al Chile. We got my partners in crime, Run PMC and Nopal with us and visiting us for the first time. Al Chile means keeping it
style boxing. Thanks to those joining me live. Those that be joining me here on Archive. I've been joined by the new co-host of ATP, Nancy, from the Boxing Republic.
It's my birthday, and then obviously, Red says to me, these are my girls. You have to make sure you do the interview for them. I said, you know what? Even though it's my birthday, we'll do it. No problem.
Oh, you're amazing.
So
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All-star panel, the round table, number 58. Really good weekend.
Seguimos en vivo. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Como siempre, Mari Marrero.
Sean El Gringo Hicksa.
Hopper.
Hey.
Always breaking it down like it is, like it should.
Welcome to the Ringside Reporters Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we're going to talk about it right here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib.